Welcome to Western Contours Podcast, sharing experiences, providing insight, and looking for solutions to become better hunters. Whether you're chasing bugles over the next ridge, sitting a stand out east, this is about passion, pursuing our dreams afield, our lifestyle, the betterment of self and community, the enlightenment that comes from those moments spent in God's creation. Through these conversations, I hope you find insight, inspiration, education, and motivation to push beyond your limits. Rolling. All right, we're live hot here at the Mile High Hunt and Fish Expo. I got my buddy Whitney Trammell with Wild Strength Podcast and our new friend Milo. Milo, we're going to get a little intro going, man. Tell us who you are and give us your last name that I refuse to try and pronounce. And yeah, we'll get rolling, man, and talk about the venture you're on and your mission.
Yeah, so I'm Milo Keldson. I based out of here in Woodland Park, Colorado, and I run a youth hunting YouTube channel to get the youth into the outdoors and get hunting. So my passion is hunting and archery and being outside. So I just wanted to get youth into that because, as we know, it's a dying sport, and we don't want that. So I just really want to get youth into the outdoors.
So you see it firsthand, right? Are you? What grade are you in?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade. So are you an anomaly in 8th grade with kids that hunt and fish?
Probably, I would say.
And what's your take, or what's their take on our lifestyle?
A lot of people probably find it pretty different, in my opinion. Like, it's not as normal anymore to be a hunter. So that's something I'd like to bring back, is making it normal again, and making it normal for a younger kid to want to hunt, rather than kind of his dad bringing him up into it and saying like, oh, you're gonna hunt. So I just want it to be a thing that people want to do.
Excellent.
Hey, I've got a question. So I'm imagining you've hunted throughout your childhood, or as soon as you could probably get a youth tag. I'm going to probably credit that to your dad. But you made a good point as far as, kids who want to hunt versus kids who are maybe being forced by their parents to hunt. Which is funny because I had a conversation with someone yesterday who was like, yeah, I didn't really like hunting as a kid because I'd go out with my dad. He didn't make it fun. It was forced. But I didn't really like hunting. And then, I kind of reintroduced myself to it as an adult, and I have this whole new love for it. So from your perspective, getting kids who want to hunt and aren't necessarily like forced to do it, what is like works for you? What gets you excited about going out there? And what do you think, like, what is your goal, or how do you kind of talk to other kids, other youth about it, as far as like, this can be really exciting?
Yeah. So to me, it's all the experience. I just like seeing the animals. I like hunting them. I like calling them. I like getting them close and talking. And like, when I talk to other kids about it, I just really want them to go out there for the experience. Like, I try to make it sound like the most exciting thing, because it is. It's the most exciting thing to do in the whole world. You got a bugle and bull coming in. You got turkeys gobbling back and forth. It's more exciting than anything in the world. And I'm sure getting your blood pressure up real high, and it's the best thing in the world.
What's phenomenal is to hear a kid say, get your blood pressure up real high.
Yeah, your blood pressure's real low, buddy.
Right. That just to have that thought process and relate that to what we do, that tells you how powerful of a thing this is, right? And Whitney and I have talked several times about what hunting means to us and our start into this lifestyle and how it's changed and molded and shaped us. Give us your input from your position. How has it? What's your view on life because of hunting?
Hunting is really it's changed my life in so many ways. It teaches you how to fend for yourself and make hard choices. It's turned me into more of a man, I would say. Like, it really does push you in that direction of making tough choices, like I said, and doing what is right. Following the rules.
This dude is right. You are right, sir.
Yeah. You are squared away.
Man. Yeah, you are the man child right here. We're sitting here with. That's phenomenal, dude. And this is why it's so important to the both of us, right? I mean, not just for the next generation,
But for all of us to hear that uptake and that output from what this lifestyle means, right? I mean, we're so removed and everything is so easy, and making those hard choices and being in those hard situations. I mean, it is iron sharpens iron to the fullest. And then the fact that dude, you're an old soul.
Yeah.
The fact that you can pull that out of what we do is phenomenal, man. So big kudos to you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm curious from the, I got into hunting as an adult. I was familiar with it as a kid, but got into it as an adult. And I find that most people who are getting into it as an adult, it's an intimidating thing. It can be expensive if you don't kind of know what you're doing, especially out west. So if you're like hunting eastern whitetail, maybe not nearly as expensive. But also like the social media influence of different influencers, professional hunters, call them what you want. Do you feel as a youth that same pressure to always go out and like, oh, I have to fill my tag or I have to be successful because I'm trying to build this YouTube and I want youth to like have fun and see that it looks cool? Or is it easy for you to just go out and be like, this is like, kind of like you said, this is fun for me. Like sometimes I fill my tag, sometimes I don't, but this is fun and you should enjoy it.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of kids feel that pressure. Oh, I just got this tag. I have to go fill it. But as I said, for me, I never feel that pressure. For me, it's all about hunting. I'd rather go hunt with a buddy who has a tag when I don't than sit at home and do nothing. So for me, I think that's what we all have to see, is that it's not about filling a tag. Of course, you want to bring meat home to your family,
Yep.
but ultimately, it's about going out and spending time in God's great outdoors.
My man.
Right?
My man.
Like, I think he should be running the podcast.
For sure.
Like, this dude is solid, man. We got to go hunting, bro.
I
Yeah.
would love to.
I say the same thing. I love getting out. Like, if I don't have a tag and I've got a buddy who's got a tag, 100% count me in. And I almost get more thrill helping other people and helping them pack out, because suffering is meant to be suffered together. Suffering alone really sucks. And I do a lot of solo hunting, but I love getting out there with people, because I think, and Guy and I have talked a lot about this, as he kind of alluded to, like what the outdoors and hunting has done for us from a mental perspective, but also, like you said, in God's country. We're out there. Like I always say, there's just like warm blanket that comes over me that I suddenly feel like I'm safe here. There are no human predators that can get me here. I can't get hit by a car out here.
Yeah.
Like, no, none of that's going to happen. And so suddenly I feel so much safer out there, but for many other reasons also. So I love that you enjoy just getting out there with other people too, because I do think some people are like, if it ain't my tag, I'm not getting out there.
Yeah,
What, you like solo hunting? Do you do any solo hunting?
I do a little bit. So I actually, mostly for the most part, hunted for my first time solo archery last year, my first archery season. So that's the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's amazing when it's you and the animal. 1v1, right?
That's it, man. That's the game, right? And you get to digest. See, you don't have the baggage that Whitney and I have. The years will load that luggage for you. But man, there's nothing in my head. There's nothing like the solo experience. Whit talks about the camaraderie, but you get out there and you get to learn yourself, and you get to make those hard decisions, and you get to be out there with your creator on the landscape in the circle of life. And, win, lose, draw, fail, whatever, however you look at it, you take something. Yeah, it was on you, and you take something away every single boot step, man. What would be your messaging to the older demographic, okay, the older segment of our demographic? What could we do better for youth hunting?
We need to make it more accessible. We need to make it easier for youth to not feel the pressure, and make it cheaper, of course. Because even if your dad isn't into it, you have to be able to get into it easier, and having programs that can get people out there. I have a program that I hunted with on my first ever turkey hunt called Open Up Outdoors. And it's all about God's great outdoors and kids and their dads getting out, and nonprofit. Everything's free. And it's we need more programs like that to go out and get kids in the woods to experience it so that they can actually find out that they enjoy it.
How is that program funded?
So it's a nonprofit. Everything's mostly paid out of pocket. Lots of businesses will donate to that. But I actually, I was out yesterday guiding a turkey hunt for them. So it was brilliant. Two kids who have almost never hunted, and we had action all morning. Gobblers didn't stop. Open the car doors. Woo!
Yeah.
I mean, it was great till the last gunshot. And I mean, after that shot, we sat in the blind for 20 minutes waiting for the leave. And that's what it's all about, is like getting them to experience the wildlife, getting them to experience anything like that and have that time.
Talk about the YouTube channel a little bit.
So it's not real big right now. I started it about a year ago, and I did it for about a month and kind of quit for the most part up until 3 months or so ago. And right now I'm doing a lot of editing. I have a lot of footage all over the place. So right now I'm just doing a whole lot of editing and trying to get videos out to people and trying to grow it as much as I can so that I can grow the youth hub. It's not about me.
Mhm.
And I'd never want it to become that.
Dude, that's dad, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you have done such a job with this young man. Like, big ups to you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
He's making you look really good, brother. Like, I mean, really, really good. It's phenomenal to hear you talk about and hear the passion, and you have thought about this. This isn't something that just came up and says, oh, I want a hunting YouTube channel. Like, this is important to me. I'm passionate about this. This means something more than me. That is, dude, in this arena, in just about every arena that we pull up on social or look on YouTube, it's about that person, right? There's a level of narcissism that's involved with that stuff. And to hear you speak right now, dude, I don't BS, right? I'm moved by the things you're saying right now.
For sure.
I mean, huge, right?
Yeah.
Whit?
No, I couldn't agree more. And I think, yeah, like, to be so young, to be at your age, to, as we kind of started with, say the things that you're saying about the outdoors. And even, for you to sit here and say, like, this isn't for me, this is something that's bigger than me. That's awesome, because I think so many kids these days, and I'm excluding you here, knowing what I know about you, but so many kids these days, it is about them. What can they do? How fast can they get it done? How quickly can they be successful in whatever it is that they're trying to get done? How fast can I blow up on social media? How fast can my YouTube get big? And you kind of made a point, I stopped YouTube for a little bit. I came back to it. And that's when it's bigger than you, you have to realize sometimes you do have to step away from it. Like, Guy and I have both talked about this. Like, there's times in the podcast where 2 months go by and I haven't touched it, but it's because it's not for me. And there might be people, maybe as you start to grow, you might get people who are like, hey, bro, like, where are your videos at? I know you stopped. And it's not for them either, right? It's for the bigger purpose of, hey, I want for hunting and conservation, because that's the biggest piece of it, I imagine, for you. But getting youth into it to help the conservation aspect of it, to help hunting, to help keep hunting alive, which is huge perspective that you're coming from. But yeah, it blows my mind, the things that you're saying. I'm like, oh my God, I was not that wise at that age.
Yeah, I've always loved it, and huge credit to my dad, because he won't take it, but he's been more of a part of it than I have.
For sure.
And
that's awesome.
He was the one who really brought me back to it when I stopped. And that means more than anything, because he's not a hunter. That's what's so cool. So he, like,
This is getting better and better as the minutes go by. What in the world is, like, I am literally floored by this conversation right now. And if I start to tear up, I'm blaming both you jack legs. It's unbelievable. Are you serious?
So yeah, he never really grew up hunting. He knew guys who hunted, but he only, when he moved out here, is when he really first hunted. And he'd go out once a year. Right? Got a over-the-counter tag, go out once a year. And I remember the first day he took me out and we were elk hunting and we saw 4 deer and it was the greatest day ever. We stayed out till dark, walked back to the truck, went home, and I told Mom all the stories. It was the greatest day, blah, 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 blah. And he supported me through all of it, which is huge considering it's not his passion.
Right. That's amazing. Shout out to Dad. So like I'm holding tears back.
Yeah.
Like legitimately holding tears back. This is phenomenal.
So you said, you mentioned your dad, didn't really like grow up hunting and it wasn't a hobby or a big passion of his. What was it for you? Do you have one moment? Is there multiple moments that kind of accumulated to one point that you were like, this is it. I have a passion for this. This is my thing. How can I be a part of this? How can this be a part of me? And how can I do more?
Yeah, it's probably a lot of moments. Just going out hunting with him once a year, that was everything led up to that year. And slowly when I got my license, he took me on that turkey hunt. And that was when I first harvested an animal. And that was amazing. That was the biggest thing ever. So I'm going to say everything before that led up to where I am now, to loving it and finding something that I know I'm going to stick in forever.
Yeah. Do you struggle to find kind of back similar to what we were talking about earlier, like friends in school and stuff like that? Do you struggle to find friends who want to go with you?
Luckily, I'm very lucky. This is going to sound funny. I have more friends who are over the age of 35.
I believe that.
than I do under the age of 15.
I believe
that.
But
I love hanging out with all of them. And I do have some friends who hunt and love to hunt. And I'm very lucky with that.
Do you feel, and this might get a little personal, for people your age, that's so funny because at your age, all of my friends were also older than 30. Like that, I was the exact same.
I just didn't have friends.
Yeah. I felt like an outsider with people that were my age because of things that had happened early on in my life. I had to mature quite a bit faster. Now, you've probably been around a bunch of adults, so that probably helps with your maturity quite a bit, I would imagine. But do you feel around people your age, do you feel like an outsider? Whether it's because of hunting, whether it is because you don't relate, because you feel a little bit more mature.
If we go off like the average 13-year-old these days, I would say I am not like them at all. No.
Yeah, that's okay.
They seem different. But like I said, I'm very lucky to have some people who do connect with me and who are my age.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is great.
It's good.
So have you played any youth sports? You play baseball or anything like that? Or
I played soccer for a while until it got in the way of hunting.
Yeah, my man.
Currently, I just work out on my own. That's my thing. I'm preparing for hunting season the second it ends all year.
Who is this kid?
I don't have anything to say. I swear to God, he should be running this.
For sure.
Like this is, I can talk, right? Yeah. I'm never speechless. Yeah. I'm pretty much speechless right now, right? I mean, you are not just an example for the youth, dude.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, you can be an example for
so many,
so many people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just amazing. So where do you stand in terms of conservation, right? That's a big thing we talk about. It's something that we should be active in. Do you have ideas of pushing that and educating? Because a lot of things we see is the lack of education or the lack of information that comes across, new hunters, younger hunters, and even older generational hunters, because it's just what they've done. And now we're in this position as hunters where we have to fight for this. So what's your stance on that? And then how are you preparing to educate those people that you bring into the fold?
Yeah. So for me, of course, youth is at the forefront because we need hunting to be alive for conservation, but conservation comes after that 100%. Conservation is almost more important because if hunting doesn't exist for the youth, then the youth can't hunt. So conservation has always been huge, especially as of recently with the wolves and trying to take away lion hunting here in Colorado. It's huge to be able to work on that.
All right, we took a quick pause. I had to, I'm so floored. I had to call Joe over here.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain people in this industry that are good for support and will absolutely do the right thing by what you're trying to do. That man right there is one of them. He is a phenomenal man. Heck of an educator. He appearance wise, you wouldn't know, but you put that dude on some editing and design stuff. Woo, fire. It's amazing, especially because he's old as molasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to walk around. Maybe the three of us walk around. I want to make some introductions in here that I think would benefit what you're doing. And I think it's very important, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
What are you currently doing to help get, you said you guided a youth hunt this morning with some turkeys, put some gobblers down. But what are you, and it's okay if the answer is nothing, you're still figuring it out. But what are you currently doing to help get youth outside? Is your YouTube channel like the main thing that's helping put that out there?
So the goal is for the YouTube channel to be the main thing.
Okay.
So I've actually had a few kids come up to me in events and tell me, "Hey, I've seen you on YouTube." So that's really cool to me to know that kids are watching it.
Yeah.
But currently it's getting out at events like this, meeting people and telling them about hunting and telling them how it's so great and trying to tell them about opportunities that make it easy to get it.
For sure. Opportunity is huge because you mentioned like the cost of hunting. It's not cheap. And when you're 12, 13 years old, you can't really go out and get a job to buy tags or to buy a bow or something like that. So I think too, a really good opportunity could be, and I'm not sitting here trying to give you business ideas or anything like that, but like if you start, maybe it is a nonprofit or you're like partnering with certain brands and their contribution is, hey, can we set this kid up to go on their first hunt? Yeah, I think that could be amazing.
And ultimately, that is one of my goals.
Yeah, for sure.
Find a way to zero cost to the hunter.
Yeah.
Get them out on a hunt, gear, bow, rifle, whatever they want to do, and get them out on hunts as much as possible.
Heck yeah. I think what you're doing is incredible. And I'm mind blown by like the words that are coming out of your mouth because, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, you remind me of me. And which is like what gets me like teary eyed because I was this kid who like didn't fit in with people my age because I was so beyond my years. And I say now as a 30-year-old adult that I had my childhood taken from me. That was my choice, right? I could have been a child the whole time, but I needed to mature for the situations that I was in. And so I get to be a kid now. I get to be a kid now and I love it and I get to have so much fun. So I do encourage you too to still have fun as a kid. You're still young. You're still very alive and can do lots of things. But I have the utmost respect for what you're doing and to like head down, eyes forward. You have a goal in mind. You're doing the right things to get after it. You're coming here. You're meeting people. Like most kids your age can't even hold a freaking conversation. I was like, at first when guys said something about a podcast, I was like, I don't know. Like sometimes kids just can't talk. And here you are, just blowing our brains off.
I mean, honestly, it was like, okay, let's see what he has. And in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, okay.
We're good.
He's got it.
For sure, yeah.
So, you know, we're talking about all this important stuff. Let's talk about the importanter stuff. And then what gets you going on the mountain? I know you said kind of everything, but if you had to say there's one animal, what is that animal? This is going to make or break you because I may not walk around with you if it's the wrong answer.
I really would love to say everything. That's always been it. If I had to pick one, the first one at the top of my head is
what?
elk.
Say it louder.
Elk.
All right. You're still walking around. We're good.
Yeah. They're the most difficult. That's it for me. And I mean, it's not to say I above hunting anything else, but everything's more difficult. And the more difficult I can make it, the better it makes me as a person.
My guy.
I'm telling you, I'm speechless. Like this is absolutely amazing, dude.
We had like almost that exact same conversation yesterday where like, and I could pose the same question to you. I was kind of on the topic of like journey versus destination. Like Do you like the journey it takes to get somewhere, or are you just trying to get somewhere kind of thing?
It's the journey.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
For sure. I mean, think about it. My favorite thing is to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, I love to harvest. That's always great, but it's the journey. That's what makes the harvest so great, is the journey leading up to it. It's all of the hills you climbed. You walked 13 miles that day. You spent the entire summer calling and shooting your bow. And that's what makes it such a great sport.
So I have a question. I said I was going to pose a couple of difficult questions. Why use the terminology harvest?
That's good.
Because I think the meat is more important than anything.
Okay, but why there's two in my head, right? There's two pieces of that. There's the kill and then there's the harvest. And I feel like it softens the blow when we say harvest, but then we're not telling the whole story of the circle of life. This is just my opinion, right? So, and I used to do the same thing. And I had a buddy of mine say, well, why do you say that? For me, it was because, thanks, Ryan, I'm softening the blow for somebody that may not understand what we do. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, why do I need to soften this blow? I need to tell the entire story. So as we talk about the journey, the killing is part of the journey. Now we have to make the hard decision to do that. I don't want to say it's never an easy decision, right? Kind of maybe the wrong phrase for that. It's not an easy thing to do. But as we say harvest, we soften it and it takes away from the realness of the circle of life, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. If I were to say the reason I say that, I would say probably just from hearing other people say it.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people say that. But I think you're 100% right. And to be out on hunts with other youth, it's hard. You can see it. And that's the hard decision, is we want to feed our families. Mm-hmm. So the hard decision is to take the animals that God has given us,
right. And you know, another perspective of it is, right, as we tell our story and the importance of our story and why this should continue, I think there's this thing when you go to the store, right? There's no terminology with going and buying beef. There's no terminology with going and buying a chicken, right? And so the more we soften our language or our explanation of it, the further the rest of society becomes from what we came from, right? Was killing animals to survive on a landscape of brutality and death, right? I mean, however that sounds to whomever, but look, that animal in that cellophane in the freezer section, it died. Someone had to kill that animal to harvest that meat, right? They're so removed from it. And that's why there's such this stigma with hunters, right? Because they don't hear the verbiage at all. Hey, I'm going to go to the store and buy 2 steaks. Hey, can you grab some patties out of the freezer section there? You know what I mean? Like, grab some bacon, grab some sausage. It never comes into it. And the further we're just further and further and further away from what it truly is, I guess is my point, right? And it's hard, right? It's hard. It's hard to look at a kid that's 12, 13, 14 years old and say, you are killing something here, right? This is what this is.
What went through your mind the first time you killed an animal? What did you feel? Maybe in your body? Was it like a body thing?
I was relieved, was the first feeling.
Okay.
And I was very thankful after.
Okay.
I was more thankful than anything to be able to bring some meat home to my family and make that hard decision to do that.
How does that feel? How does that feel as a 12, 13-year-old young man when you sit down with mom, dad, and you get to feed them?
It's the best. It's the best. I know my mom loves prawn ham. So it's awesome when she gets so excited to pull that out of the freezer. That's awesome to see, like when everyone's so happy to see that it's game meat rather than store meat. And coming back to that, I think a lot of the anti-hunters don't like it because they don't want to see the process. And what they're not seeing is animals raised in a pen. They never get to run. They never get to go anywhere. And then they're slaughtered. But here, these animals are free. They're doing exactly what God created them to do. And that's why we learn to make an ethical shot, so that we cause them the least amount of suffering possible.
That's awesome.
I was talking to Dan about that yesterday. I'm like, it just blows my mind that the people who are against hunting are going and buying steaks from the store. Like, would you like me to usher you to where this steak came from?
But that goes to what I was saying, right? They're further and further and further removed from it. I can't even imagine. Okay.
Do you think you're eating a sweet little live cow right now?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense, right? So, I mean, and think about it, right? The grocery store took the verbiage away, right? And now you have the online shopping. It's going to further remove, society from the act of circle of life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just this step further and further and further and further away from fire and protein. That the reason that we're sitting here like this today is because of those things. And we ignore that fact. It's just, I don't know. That part of it's crazy to me. And I'm not telling you use the verbiage you want to use, bro. I'm just saying, from my point of view, I don't think that we should shy away from saying that this is what we do. It's a hard decision. I respect that life adamantly. I don't know a hunter that wastes any wild game. But I could walk into a restaurant at any given moment and see a plate sitting with scraps that aren't going home. Or if the scraps do go home, that box sits in that fridge for a week and a half until they throw it away because they didn't finish it, right?
Exactly.
What hunter does that? If I'm flipping elk patties on the grill and one hits the floor, I look around. I don't even care about the 5-second rule. That sucker's going back over that flanking.
Yeah, you and me both.
Right? Like, I'm not wasting an ounce of this resource.
No, because it's so precious to it.
Yeah.
It's taken so much time to get there.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys get rolling. Why don't you drop the YouTube channel, drop the org, so folks know if they want to partake and donate or whatever that looks like. Drop all that stuff on the podcast, and then Whitney and I shall release it on Wild Strength Podcast. I'll release it on Western Contours, and then you guys got some content. We're happy to share this, and you do whatever you want with it.
Awesome. Yeah. So YouTube channel is my name right now, Milo Keldsen, Keldsen. We're working on changing that a little bit. So if you're gonna check it out, maybe check it out sooner or later before that gets changed. But I'm just excited to be here.
What's the organization you're guiding with? That's kind of
that's Open Up Outdoors.
Okay.
Go check them out. I don't know if they have a website. I don't think they do. Yes. Facebook page. So check them out on Facebook. Cool. Open Up Outdoors.
Yeah.
They're the greatest.
Awesome.
They teach ethical hunting and how to be a responsible sportsman. So that's 100%. Go check them out.
Awesome.
For sure.
Cool. It was it's such a pleasure to have you on here. I'm excited to see what you do. You're still so young and you have so much opportunity ahead of you. I think it's so cool that you have a dad who doesn't even hunt, who maybe does sometimes, who is so supportive of you, and to have that support system and that you're so grateful for that support system is really cool to see. I know a lot of kids are like, ew, parents, get away from me. So it's so cool to see that you're so grateful for that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me. This has been amazing. I love talking to other sportsmen, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah, it's been an honor, dude. I'm not shaded. I'm not just saying it. I'm not blowing smoke. An absolute honor to sit down with you and share a few moments. We did not talk about what we will right now before we get off is Whitney. Her feet are a foot from the ground right now.
I'm just flipping it. I mean, I thought I escaped that one for sure.
We sat down and that was the first thing I noticed is Whit's floating over there. But man, yeah, dude, any way that I can help and support the channel, Open Up Outdoors on Facebook. Yeah, you reach out to me at any moment, dude, and say, hey, I need some assistance with this. When you guys catch a moment, we'll walk around the floor. I'll introduce you to a few folks that I think you need to know. And best of luck to you, man. Keep going strong. It is an honor sitting with you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. It's been great.
When you spend as much time as we do outdoors, you know how fast things can change. Born in September on the western slope of Colorado chasing bulls, Western Fly Covers has one mission, keeping you on your game. Whether you're chasing bulls in September in our Pursuit poncho or glassing a Bruin under the mountainside fly in the spring, our gear keeps you dry and on the mountain so you can focus on what truly matters, your pursuit. Don't let the rain or wind hold you back. Be prepared for anything Mother Nature throws your way. Built to last and not break the bank, check out Western Fly Covers at westernflycovers.com and on Shopify.